Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Welcome to Rest Mama, the podcast dedicating to supporting and uplifting moms on their journey through motherhood. I am your host, Agatha, and each and every week we will explore the joys, challenges, and everything in between that comes to being a mom, especially a single mom, because that's what I am. Whether you are a new mom navigating sleepless nights, or a seasoned mama juggling work and family or anything in between, this podcast is for you. Now, Rest Mama is in the business and we believe in the power of community, self care, rest, and relaxation. So, join me as I share stories, tips, and some expert advice, and most importantly, a little bit of how to navigate this chaotic thing of being a mom. And I'll say chaotic because, baby, we all know. So grab something to drink, something to eat, and let's get started with today's episode. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? I'm so excited. This is episode 2. It's like 10:45 and it dawned on me that today is Wednesday. Y'all, I work a 12-hour shift, 4 hours a day. 4 days a week, 12 hours a day. And sometimes I forget what day it is. And so I was like, shoot, today's Wednesday. I need to record so I can upload for Thursday because I'm going to be consistent about this thing. I'm going down the list of what God has told me to do. Okay. And at this time, he's sick of me. So I got I have got to be consistent and obedient to what he's told me to do. I don't care if nobody don't listen to it, but I just know that he told me to talk about 12 things, 12 topics, and I'm gonna talk about the 12 topics, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna kiki. We might have some guests come on. I'm pretty excited about this podcast and where it's going. First things first, let's do some little housekeeping. Follow me on all social media platforms. I'm gonna place them right here. Y'all visit my website. No, not visit my website because I'm still working on it. I'm revamping my website because I do a lot of stuff and I want one place for everything to be put on this website. So that way you click a tab and you know everything about Agatha and what she can offer, what I do, things of that nature. So just follow the social media platforms that I have listed here. It's probably about either 3 or 4 of them. Agatha underscore Inc., Rest Mama, and then Rest Mama Travels. As well as Come Eat with Aggie is on here too as well. So y'all follow me on all social media platforms. Those platforms are on Instagram. I do have Facebook platforms. It'll take you directly to my Facebook page if you click those Instagram pages. And I am on TikTok as well. You just put in Agatha. I promise you I'll pop up. The girl with the red hair. Okay. Second thing is don't forget to go purchase a copy of my book as well as my journal, 7,000 Miles and my journal One Day. I talk about 7,000 Miles, and this is the reasoning why Rest Mama has started the nonprofit organization as well as the podcast and now the travel company that I just launched. I am I'm so excited about this book and what it is opening, the doors that are opening up for it. It literally is about my life story and what I walked through to get to where I am right now. Is in the beginning of when I was born up until today. Okay, because I just published it last month. So y'all go grab a copy of that. I'll also link the link for the purchase of my book is in my bio under Agatha underscore Inc. As well as Rest Mama. And then One Day, which is my 30 days of motivation, a journal to success, self-discovery, and growth. I actually wrote this for myself because I am a journal girl by heart. And something says stop buying journals when you can just create your own. And so that's what I did. Now that don't mean y'all don't go buy my journal. Okay. But I curated it for me. And if you're the type of person that don't like to set long-term goals, you like to work on short-term goals. Now, although I do have long-term goals, like things that I want to do 10 years from now, but I really don't focus on those 10-year goals. I focus on what I got to do tomorrow. What we got going on today. Because tomorrow not promised, okay? And so this book kind of is curated for that. It gives you prompts. Just one of the things is overcoming obstacles, and it kind of gives me a prompt of what I need to write down today because I really be going through this stuff that I put in this or have went through it, and I just sometimes need refreshers. And so it asks what my mood is because what I do is I look at this from what my mood was today, and I go to the next day and I figure out how can I change for what my mood was yesterday to today to make it a better day for me. And it just gives you prompts on writing your to-do list down. I love a to-do list, baby. I got like 50,000 to-do lists running around here. So yeah, one day is very, very important. That's my daughter, Soraya. She just popped in. Get these books. I promise you they're gonna help you. They're gonna help you out. Basically, definitely too, especially one day, because I'm talking today about balancing work and parenting. Something that I feel like I've mastered a little bit. I ain't the pro, but I've mastered it a bit. And I'm gonna give you guys just some things that I do to kind of help me balance work, life, and these kids. And yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today. First and foremost, I do want to shout out to the person that sent me money, but then asked me to refund it because they sent it to me on accident. I feel like that was a test. And when I looked at it, I thought I knew the person of who it was that was sending me the money. But yeah, no, they weren't trying to send me that money. So they asked me to refund it, and I sent it back because who got time for the karma? But I was in my emails because I was trying to clean up my emails. I don't know about y'all, but I am the person. I can't have 3,000 emails unread. And it irks me. And at first, I'm all like, I know I'm not OCD or anything like that, but that's one of the things that literally just irks, grinds my gears. Okay, uh, shit, bless me. I did cook me something I was gonna plan on eating with y'all and talking with y'all today, but it done got cold. I cannot eat cold food. I don't know. It's just me, baby. If the food cold, I'm done. I'm over it. I am gonna warm this up because this is good. So I made a those two books are not the only books that I wrote. It's not my first time being an author. I've wrote two cookbooks. So I know how to cook. I love to cook. I don't cook for people. And if I do cook for people, it's because it's people that are really close to me. But you can't hire me to cater or anything like that. I've done catering before. Hate it. If y'all want to cater, I know a bomb caterer. I can refer y'all. She's the bomb. She's in Dallas, but she travels. Y'all want to cater, do that. But I do know how to cook, and I love cooking. Cooking is like the things that de-stresses me throughout my day. So today I made a egg and potato boil. It's almost like a seafood boil, crab boil, or whatever the case may be. Same ingredients, it just has vegetables in it. I am part pescatarian, part vegetarian, so I've been eating a lot of salmon and shrimp, and I think I'm developing an allergy from it because I'm breaking out on my face every time I eat salmon. I'm breaking out. So yeah, I'm trying to give it a break. I gotta detox my body. But I normally do eat a lot of vegetables, vegetarian dishes. Crazy part about it is though, I can't eat like the fake vegetarian food. The only vegetarian meat that I can eat is the one in particular that I'm eating now. It doesn't hurt my stomach, it doesn't break me out, it doesn't do anything because a lot of it I can't digest soy. And so I used to be a fan of impossible meat, and I realized that I cannot eat it anymore. It hurts my stomach. So I'm all like, what am I gonna eat? I can't eat no burger. I can't eat nothing. I don't eat chicken. Because I don't eat the soy patties for the chicken. Um just Beyond used to be good, but I just can't do it anymore. I can't do it. So this is just a vegetarian boil. So good. It's got the spices, got the butter, got the side of rice. Baby, it is, but it's cold. So I'm not gonna eat that right now. Um, but I wanted to talk to y'all about balancing work, parenting, and life because I feel like I'm a master at it. My daddy used to say, "Girl, you run around here with like a chicken with his head cut off." I literally do, but I've learned how to master that in a sense where I'm learning to not get burned out by the things that I do because you're not gonna tell me that I can't be there for my kids. Like that's the number one important thing for me as being a mom and in this life is being there for my children. They only have me as the only parent here. They have their dad, but their dad doesn't live in the same state that they do. So they don't have the second support of their father, right? But they can call him and talk to him, whatever the case may be, if they need him. Whatever the case may be, they got access to their daddy. He just physically isn't here. So if there's anything that my children need, I want to be there for them. I remember a particular time, quick story. I was working for an insurance company, and one of my friends at that time, she called me and she said, Soraya's standing inside the road. Her class is up here too. Police out here. Do you know what's going on? Because she was late taking her kids to school. So she thought I knew what was going on or if I was on my way. And I said, no, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, girl, and she's just frantic and stuff like that. And it was just a lot going on. And I just remember going to my supervisor and saying, hey, there's something going on at my child's school. I need to leave. And this man sat there, looked me dead in my face and said, you can leave, but you won't have a job. Or you can put it through proper protocol and wait to get approved. And if you are approved, you can leave. But that may take a while because we're not going to rush that. And I looked at him and I was like, you mother, there's no possible way. And the crazy part about it is we had just had a team meeting about empathy and showing customers empathy and kind of being where people are, meeting where people are. And this nigga didn't meet me where I was. Sorry. And I was mad. I cried. Thankfully enough, my friend had grabbed Soraya and I was like, just take her to my mom's. I don't know what's going on. I cried. Later on that day, after all the kids were dismissed from school, they finally emailed us and told us that there was an active threat on her campus. I was living in Dunwoody at the time. An active threat. And the fact that the person had been threatening the school numerous of times. And I guess he tried to pull that day. Could you? I was livid when I got home. When I tell you, baby, I was so pissed. So I remember going into work the next day. And at that point in time, I had been working, I had two other businesses that I was doing, and I was doing those two businesses and working this 9 to 5. And the reason why I was working the 9 to 5, because they had good insurance. Baby, I'm all about having good medical insurance, baby. Medical, dental, vision, all that. Well, no, we going to have that. And so and the money was good. The pay was good. I liked the job. I really, truly, truly did like the job. I actually saw myself retiring from that company and things of that nature. And that supervisor, he didn't have no empathy. And then I come to find out I had later learned that he didn't have any kids. So he didn't know how to empathize with a parent having to leave on such dire emergency. Like he was like, put it through proper protocol. So I remember coming back to work, sitting at my desk, and I told my coworker, I said, you know, I make my paycheck in a day. I said, I had literally had made my 2 weeks paycheck the day before because I had completed something for a client, and I got paid good at that job. Like I was bringing home maybe about let's see, when I worked there, I was bringing home about 4K a month from that job. Now, I mean, that might not be a lot to a lot of y'all, but the 4K that I brought home to that job plus my other businesses that I was working, that was some cool, clean money for an easy job. The job was easy. And so my 2 week check was like 2,500, and I told him, I said, I made my check last night with a client. I said, if I was to take the same energy that I'm giving this job 9 to 5, who don't care shit about me, and I could be flexible and be able to be there for my kids, if I could put that much energy into my own stuff that I got going on, I'll make it. And that was the 1 year the 2 years that I made like 6 figures, high 6 figures. So my friend asked me, he said, what you still doing here? I put my 2 weeks notice in. And I remember his boss came and pulled me to the side and said, is there anything that we can do to keep you? You're a great employee. You haven't been late to work. You on time. We understand that situation with your daughter. Your accuracy rate for completing your claims and your cases and dealing with your clients is 99%. They're like, how can we keep you? I said, if you can be flexible with me and I don't have to go through the ringer, that if I need to go and be with my kids, then I'll stay. He said, well, company policy. I said, well, my company policy is my children and they come first. And at that moment I did my 2 weeks and I left. I sure did. And I worked for I had my own office. I was able to not only work for my church, I was able to work my own businesses. I generated high 6 figures for 2 years doing that, putting in that month, that extra time and that effort that I put in at that 9 to 5. I did that for myself, and y'all, that was like the best feeling in the world. So I'm gonna tell to y'all, you guys, about how to do it. Where do you start? I think that the first step is having the drive to do it. I came from a family where we worked. I've been working since I was 14 years old. My grandparents, well, my great grandparents, they were sharecroppers, things of that nature on one side, and the other side they were business owners. My grandparents on both sides, one side was a business owner, one side, well, both sides was a business owner. My mom and my dad's side, their parents were business owners too as well. They had 9 to 5s, and then that was passed down on to my parents. So I've always been in a household where somebody is working, like somebody got a job. You doing something. You ain't just sitting around. Baby, I didn't even know what assistance was till I became a single mama and divorced. like, I kid you, I kid you not. Like, and that's not I mean, I don't want to laugh at that, but literally it was because we've always worked, and we never wanted for anything. So I come from that family, so you have to have the drive. You have to have the tenacity to get up and put in the work and do it. Because if you want to work, you want to get to the bag, you want to do the money, you got to put in that work, right? And then two, I got kids, and so my main goal was, like I said, is to be there for my children. Like I have stepping stone. I don't have stepping stone kids. My kids have age gaps in between them. So the first two, it's a well, congratulations, balloons. It said congratulations to me. Uh, and those who are listening on and not visually watching me, some balloons just come up in the screen. It's hilarious. It's funny. Um, but my oldest is 18, my middle child is 14, and the youngest is 8. So I have age gaps. So you got to think that those are 3 different grades too as well. Thankfully enough, the oldest two last year went to the same school, but before they didn't. So can you imagine having a child in each school in different schools, like an elementary, a middle school, and a high school? And so, yeah, I mean, I needed to be flexible for my children, being there for them because I was the only parent physically here with them. So in the event that they didn't call me and they get sick, or they need me to be somewhere that, if I had a job, I would have to be working. That was not the life that I wanted to live. Baby, I would quit a job when it comes to them kids. Because at that point in time, I feel like if I was to die today, and that job would have me replaced the moment that they figured out that I was dead. So I never put into, that job more so than I do for my children. Now, working is important. I don't want to discard that or anything like that. I'm not telling you to go quit your job and be solely taking care of your kids. Please don't do that. Especially if you're a single mama and you're the only source of income and things of that nature. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my priority was my children, and I made sure that the job that I was working fit that priority. It needed to be flexible. And so me being first, because before, when my children were young, I was a stay-at-home mom. I stayed at home with my children for the most time, stay-at-home mom and wife. And so when I did go back into work, I wanted to give them that same lifestyle of having mommy fully available there for them, but also being able to be provided for them. And so the one thing that I think the top priority, like I said, was the drive and the tenacity to do it. Like, you have to put in the work, and you have to be clever when it comes to it. And so the first topic is like maintaining work schedules. I always made sure that I never got a schedule that interfered with them. And so, say if I did have a job and it was a 9 to 5, I would try to make sure if I didn't start off on the earliest work schedule, I worked my way to it. Like, I made sure that I did what I needed to do to get on that first schedule, because I wanted to be at work while my children were at school so I can be at home with them at night when they were younger. Like I said, my kids are amazing kids. They don't want for nothing. They don't need for nothing. They're very independent. They can do for themselves, and it's not something that they have to do because they're in a space of survival. It literally is because they have the mindset to do it on their own. And me and my kids, we walk through life together at the same time. And so, cleaning up behind themselves, cooking for themselves, doing things on their own. Like I would teach them how to do these things. The 8-year-old knows how to go. If he's hungry, he knows how to go downstairs, know how to turn the oven on, or he could cook on a cooktop. But he's been learning how to do that since he was 5, 6 years old. Same thing for my daughter and my oldest. Like they've always been able to do. And I always would tell them, I say, hey, if you want it, then you got to learn how to do it, right? Because mommy's not going to be around you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. And so I instilled that in them very on at an early age. So when the schedules came for work, I made sure that I arranged it to where I can be available for them at some point in time. If I knew that I did not want to work a weekend, I wasn't going to work a weekend, because weekends are usually time for family or time for vacations or things of that nature. My children have been on vacations, and they have been granted the opportunity to travel all over the world without me having to miss any work for it. And so maintaining or managing work schedules is very important. I do advise you that if you don't get one day, you get some type of journal, some type of calendar, some type of tool to use to help you organize and manage your day. I literally have to-do lists. Like tonight, I have a to-do list of what I need to do for tomorrow. Like my dad's coming over tomorrow, and so make sure that the house is clean. Like there's a lot of things that I do to keep my brain organized, because it can get chaotic, and keep my life organized, because I didn't want to plan for him to come over to my house and I had something else to do. So that's very important to have some sort of calendar planner, some sort of tool. You use your phone, you use your notes, hell, use Google or use Alexa. Baby, I be telling my Google all the time, write this down, because the Google can talk to my phone, things of that nature. Alexa does the same thing. Siri can do the same thing for you. Like use those tools, you guys, to manage um, your life. That way, that work will not have to interfere with your children. Um, I never, ever, ever try to plan anything when it comes around for their birthdays. I also take into account that if their birthdays fall on during the week, that I plan accordingly to what we're going to do for the week. Therefore, that if they have a birthday on the weekend, that I make sure that I'm off for the weekend for their parties, because they usually are going to do 3 things for their birthday. They're going to have a family dinner. They're going to be able to do something individually with me, because I think that that's important, to spend time individually with them on their birthday. And then they have a party with their friends and things of that nature. So I make sure that I plan accordingly to that throughout the year. So we talk about birthdays, like Soraya's birthday is up next. Her birthday, well, her birthday comes first. It's in August. Baby, we've been talking about what you were doing for your birthday in February, because I need to plan, because I want to make sure that I'm off of work, or, I don't plan anything around it. I'm not having to take a trip or whatever the case may be. And so that is going to be very important. Planners, organization, you have to get organized, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to be able to know how to manage birth, growth, and life. And then too, mamas, this podcast is about rest and relaxation and self-care and community. So we also have to carve in time for ourselves, not let alone that if you are working, if you do have children, that you got to carve time for yourself. If you single, babies, you got to listen. Me? Oh, I'm gonna take Agatha out. Agatha gonna take herself out. I'm gonna spend some time with me. And even if it's not even spending time with myself alone, it's hanging out with friends. I make sure that I want to be intentional about my friendships and things of that nature. So we put things on, calendars, or we talk about it, things of that nature. I always just be organized when it comes to that, so I can be intentional with refreshing myself and making sure that I'm relaxed, so I can go to work and not be stressed out, and I can be able to raise these kids. So that is one of the things that have saved me for a very, very, very long time, baby. When I tell you, it could be a piece of paper. I'm gonna have a to-do list. I'm gonna write it down, because I don't want to forget nothing, especially when it comes around during school time. Another thing is quality childcare, because I think that it is very important to have some type of help. Childcare doesn't necessarily mean daycare, doesn't necessarily mean having to get a nanny. You may have a family member that ain't got nothing to do, bored at the house, with like a little change that you can give them, or buy some groceries for, that can just watch your kids. Now, I do understand the importance of not having your kids around any and everybody. Trust me, my village is very vetted, and I've either known them for a very long time or they are actually family. But I also had those conversations with my kids that they don't get themselves, like they are in a position where they are where it's a danger to them, like they know what to do. Okay, we had those talks. I've been having them talks with my children for a very, very long time. Okay. And so, but yeah, I've always made sure that I had a wonderful community, tribe, village, whatever the case may be. If it's my personal family, like my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, things of that nature, to my actual close friends, my best friends, things of that nature. I've even traveled to go help my people, like my friends or my family, because they needed somebody to come watch their kids or whatever the case may be. And so that is very, very, very important. And people say, well, I don't got no friends like that. Da, da, da. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I when I came back from when me and my ex-husband separated, I had a church community, but I really didn't really know them. Church for me was like, I love God, I love Jesus, and I'm trying to explain this in the best way that I know how. But I wasn't really at that point in time very active in my church. Um, so up until I came back, when I started working for the church, that's when I became more involved. But I will say that the church, if you don't, I'll start with the church because that's where we're gonna start. um if you do go to church and things of that nature, they do have small groups, they have community events, they have things where you can get to know people, you can be part of ministries and things of that nature where you get to know people. That's where a lot of my help came from, especially when I came back after me and my ex-husband separated. My church was a big factor in my village, because when I had to work and somebody needed to go pick up these kids, somebody from the church went and picked up them kids, or they watched them for me. When I was, coming back and I didn't have no money to my name and having to literally just find my way because I was a stay-at-home mom and he was the only one making the income. I didn't have money to pay for daycare. I couldn't put Carter in daycare because Carter was little. Thankfully enough, my parents had just retired, and so they were able to watch Carter. But when Carter wasn't able to be watched, then people from the church would help me watch my kids. I actually met two people that way. I was at church and one girl was talking about, she needed to find a way for her daughter because her daughter and Carter are the same age. And we was like, well, shit, let us barter. So, I watch the kids this week and you do XYZ for me, and you watch the kids this time and you do XYZ and I do XYZ for you. We would do that. And then I actually met another friend through her because this lady was a stay-at-home mom and she had nothing to do. Oh, and we had a beautiful friendship at that point in time because it was just us moms. And so I worked during the day, she stayed at home. She did her entrepreneur thing, but she was able to take her baby and Carter with her wherever where she went. um and then my so that's like one way to find a community if you don't really have the resources or the funds to do childcare. Like, get into your church and get into those small groups. They have single mom groups, they have family groups, they have those type of groups where you can actually hunker down and get you some help if you need it. Another thing that really really benefited me was because um I was a room mom. I would always volunteer to be like a room parent or a room volunteer. And with those things, if you have it in you, because it is tough, child, it is a job. But if you have it in you, you be able to develop friendships with the children's parents. And so a lot of times, especially when they're young, you always doing birthday parties at the school or whatever the case may be. I would talk to the parents. My children's friends, some of their parents are now my friends, and it was because of them, because they were friends with them in school. And so I remember when I was living in Buckhead, it was me and two other ladies, and me and one lady, we were both single parents, and things of that nature. I was still, well, no, I wasn't a single parent. I was living in Buckhead, but I was married, but my ex-husband was overseas in Kuwait. But I operated like a single mom, whatever the case may be. And so but she was a single parent too as well, and she had her mom, and there was another lady, her husband, she was a stay-at-home mom, and she was rich, her husband was rich. But the other mom, she had a 9 to 5. She worked in finances at a big, one of the biggest banks in Georgia. And so we would text each other. We were room parents, but that's how we gained the relationship. And so every day we'll be like, hey, can y'all pick up, can you pick up Cameron for me? This, that, and the third. And then they would text back, hey, can you pick up such and such for me? Hey, can you pick up such and such? It got to the point where we was texting each other in the morning, who doing pickup and who doing drop offs? Because that gave the breathing room for the other two parents to be able, like, okay, I'll take on the kids today so you can handle whatever you need to handle, and we'll swap. So in the school, that's a very, very, very well, one of the ways that I use, especially to combat the childcare, because I couldn't afford childcare. Childcare is like a mortgage at this point, especially a good childcare facility. Like, I ain't talking about just dropping them off anywhere. I'm talking about literally like a good child care facility. And I always wanted the best for my kids. I did not want them to go to just anywhere. Every school that they went through was prestige and top notch. So the tuition was high. And so I combated that, especially when I was on my own, as well as when I came back from the Middle East. Baby, I needed my village. And those another friend of mine, we've been friends ever since our girls have been 4 or 5. And so, even now, if I was to call her and be like, hey, can you go pick up, Carter or Soraya from school, she on a pickup list. Okay. Like, that would be what I would do to combat that way, that my balance would be balanced, so to say. So, and the kids wouldn't feel like they were abandoned. They were probably always with a friend or somebody that they know. And, it was almost like they were at home away from home. And so that's another way that you can do it. Community with your church, community with your children, friends, their parents. Another way that I used to do, especially when Cameron was small and little, and I was navigating the new, parent, being a new parent, was I would go to like the library. I would get on Groupon and go to like free classes. I would sign up for free classes, or I'll sign him up for like swim lessons. You get like 5 swim lessons for $30 or whatever the case may be, giving them something to do. And I would meet parents there. And so you would never know, by being in those places and those spaces, that somebody may need the same need that you have. And so you can barter those things and swap out, your kids and things of that nature. So, like, you have to do that if you want to balance your work life and parenting, because if you are out here doing it alone, especially I'm talking to my single moms now, if you are out here doing it alone, there are ways to develop community. You just have to get out there and do it. You should not ever, ever, ever feel like you're doing this life alone. There is always somebody out there that is willing to help, that is safe for you and your children, and can help, catapult you to where you need to go. I don't think that I would be where I am today if it wasn't for my village, especially when I got my divorce. Because if I didn't have my village beforehand, and then getting into divorce, I probably would be lost. And so I want you to, not to say that even if you are a married mom and you're thinking of that D word, we don't ever want to think about it that way, but you have to get yourself out there and get yourself involved in the community, church, with your children's school, sign them up for Little League. Baby, them Little League families don't play at all. I used to be the auntie going to the Little League families, and I would be like, my kids will go with these people. Because it was just like developing, like community and villages and tribe. You have to have one of those. I don't care if somebody tell you don't need all of that, baby, they is lying to you. You do need it, because you can't always depend upon your family, and you can't always depend upon your friends. They got work too. If they ain't like my parents that were able to retire at a very young age, they got to go to work just like you. So they can't watch your kids, or they can't come pick up your kids. Their schedule may be different. They may be tired. They may got kids of their own. And so a lot of times that when my family was available or my friends were not available, I was able to depend upon the room parents at the school. I was able to depend upon the Little League mama, you know, whatever the case may be. I always made sure that I set myself up for success when it came to needing the support that I needed to help me raise these kids. Um, Another thing is, like I said, going back to the job situation, I always made sure that I had something else going on with my life. If I did have a 9 to 5, then I always make sure that I was doing something on the side. I don't care what it is. If you like to knit yarn and make quilts, do it, because you don't know that. Well, no. I'm not gonna say you don't know. You do know, because we experienced it during the panini, where everything shut down, and it was desperate times calls for desperate measures for a lot of people. And if you didn't have a skill, a trade, or whatever, a hobby that you can turn and flip it into money, baby, you was struggling. Trust me. A lot of what I do now was birthed from the panini, the pandemic. And then two, when I took my whole year sabbatical, I was able to live off of the money that I made during that time off of a skill set that I already had. And so I always, especially to my single moms, married mamas too, because listen, you gotta have a plan. Okay. I don't know if you ain't never had not like a grandmama like mine, baby, but don't you ever put all your eggs in one basket, okay? You'll be out here like me trying to turn in the change jar at the corn stopped at the Kroger's, okay? Because it was tough. So I say all that to say, even if you're married and you're staying at home and you're, really just taking care of your kids, there has to be a trade skill or something that you have got to have in order that in the event that you need to produce some funds to take care of you and your kids, that you be able to do it. So I've had so many years of customer service, and you know what, customer service, work from home was the customer service aspect. A lot of companies were downsizing their companies, and to scale the overhead that they have from having a building, air conditioning, lights, and things of that nature, they started sending people home even before the pandemic, right? And so I actually work with a company. I actually have my own business. It's through my management company, but it is my own business where I have my own telecommunications business. Like I own it. Like I pay taxes on it every year. A lot of times I don't work it, but it is mine. And the need that if I need to fall back on it, I have something to fall back on, because we don't know. I mean, you could go to work today and they tell you, oh, we're closing down shop and you don't have a job. And I did never ever, I can't be in a situation like that because I got 3 kids. Like, baby, I just spent $500 in groceries just last Saturday. It is Wednesday. And tell me I can go downstairs right now and tell you that there's no $500 worth of groceries in there. Baby, they eat it up. And I'm not the type, I fuss at them a lot because I'm all like, y'all gotta chill out. Right now, y'all, these stomachs, y'all don't have these stomachs during school. These summer stomachs, they got to go. But I also don't want them to feel like, like I can't provide them food. So, and then two, this second half of the year is one of the busiest years for my household. Everybody born after August. And I'm gonna tell y'all right this how our schedule works is it's Soraya's birthday and that kick starts our year off for real, because January to August is very chill, things of that nature. It was a little bit exciting because Cam graduated this year, but usually typically it's August to December where it is party time, baby. It is nonstop for us because not only are we doing her birthday, my friend's daughter, we always gotta go somewhere out of town for her. Always. Like, baby, it ain't a year we ain't went out of town yet. So you gotta pay for that. And then September is pretty chill month. Basically, we kind of really don't do too much of that, but it kicks up. A lot of my friends' birthdays are at the end of the year too. So in October, it's baby, every weekend is full. Baby, listen, every weekend is jam packed. Every weekend. Because I got 2 friends' birthdays in the month of October. I got one at the end of September, one in October, and then it starts off fall. It's my favorite time of the year. So fall comes in and we doing something every weekend. And then when Halloween hit, baby, it's the kickoff of the fall festivities. Because in the month of November, it's my birthday, it's Cam's birthday, it's Thanksgiving. And so we kicking out that. And then after that, it kicks off the Christmas holiday. And so it's Carter's birthday and then it's Christmas. And so it literally is like most of my funds is spent from August to December. So I always have a backup plan when it comes to that. And I kind of dip into it around this time. So it's perfect because when I looked at the time and I had been working all day today to kind of revamp some businesses, refresh, do a lot of research, things of that nature, what I need to do. And I just launched Rest Mama, the nonprofit, and everything like that, and the for-profit side. So I went in and I was like, let me check and see what my telecommunications business got to offer, because this telecommunications I can service numerous of companies. I service like Carnival, Princess Cruise Lines, Comcast, Intuit, Home Depot, Coach, Peloton, um, MSC, which is like it's like a service to dispatch calls for elderly transfer pickups. Also Ajero, which is roadside assistance. Just different companies that I could service. Now I have to go in and do training, but I pick my schedule, I pick my hours. The training is about 4 weeks, and baby, I'll be making money from now until then. And then during tax season, I service Intuit and TurboTax, Intuit or TurboTax, whichever the one, whichever the two that they're gonna offer me. And I do that for tax season. And baby, sometimes I can make $800-900 a week with that company. So I always have a backup plan because I never want to be able to be like that situation that happened with my daughter and not being able to go get her. Thankfully enough that the job that I have now is so much on theme for me because I work 12-hour shifts for 4 days a week. So I work 4 days and I'm off 4 days. I work at night, so I work a 7 to 7. And I can still do what I can do because the job doesn't require me much. I'm a bondsman, so I sit in the office. If the phone ring, it rings. If it don't, it don't. It takes me about 5 minutes to complete the job or whatever the case may be for a client to call in, and I'm literally on trying to do something else. I have to keep myself busy because if not, I'm gonna fall asleep. So that's how I finished my book, and I talked about it in my last episode. I finished my book at my 9 to 5. And the beautiful part about it is when I got hired, um, the hiring manager was like, "Yeah, you're gonna probably need to find something else to do while you at the office. Like you don't need to be. Are you in school? Like that literally was the question. Like, are you in school? Like, do you have anything else going on? Because you're probably going to." Need to keep yourself busy just to keep yourself up. But I'm off for 4 days. So like this week, I don't go back to work until Saturday night. So it it assists me tremendously because and I work at night too, so I still have my days. Whatever the day is, Monday, Sunday to Saturday, I still have my days, like my daytime. If I'm not sleeping, and then at night for 4 days I'll just work, and then for the remaining 4 days I'm off. So convenient, so flexible. But I also am doing my telecommunications business where I can pick my schedule. So now because I have my 4 off days, I can work from the comforts of my home. I don't even got to go in nowhere. I don't even got to get out my pajamas if I don't want to. Some of them are customer facing, some of them are not. And so, and if I wanted to do the backside, like the actual working for like the QA or whatever, they offer me those opportunities all the time when I'm working with them. Um, and then I just launched. So Agatha, how many jobs you got? I don't have jobs. I have passions. And so bail bonds, that's it. That is my job. That's the only job that I have, my 9 to 5. But I'm passionate about it. I feel like when I sit in that seat, I'm supposed to be there at that particular time, at the particular day. I've saved some people's lives, promise you, and I'm not trying to be a savior, but literally when somebody has been on the brink, I remember speaking with somebody and they're saying, I'm tired of coming back up here. Like I'm done. The other day, I assisted this man. He was saying how he was just having some issues with his health. Thankfully enough, I had already went through the same stuff with my dad, so I was able to be able to assist and help him get the things that he needed and have those things set up, right? And so for me personally, um, I my job is on theme and where I need to be. But in the interim, I also have other opportunities that I do. So I do my management telecommunications company, and then Rest Mama, which is my nonprofit, which I'm so passionate about right now. When I tell y'all, every time that I'm somewhere, I'm always encountering a mom that's in need. And just the other day, I was, and she needed an Uber ride somewhere. She's at the grocery store and she needed an Uber ride and she didn't have no more money. And I just sent her an Uber. Like those type, I sit there and I'm all like, Lord, I know for a fact this is what you want me to do. But I have Rest Mama, which is a nonprofit that I'm passionate about. But then I just launched my travel advisement business. Y'all, if y'all know me, y'all know that I love to travel. I've been all over the world. I talk about it in my book. I talk about it, like I have a map up here where I have scratched off all the countries. I've touched every continent except for Antarctica. Um, and I've been to probably over 25 plus countries so far. Just for me traveling personally and working with businesses and things of that nature. Um, so I launched my own travel business where I have access to help you book vacations, Airbnbs, tickets, whatever the case, whatever you need, I can help you with that. I have a website. I'll put that here below. I'll put it in the group chat. It is on my social media platforms everywhere and a social media platform is available. But I have those things to help me balance out my life because in the event that my 9 to 5 stops, I want to be able to be doing something where I don't miss a beat when it comes to my income, right? Child support, it gonna only be for so long. I mean, I already got one out the door, so part of that's gonna go towards him. And then the other two, you know what I'm saying? Like the funds is cut in half when it comes to that. So I fully can't depend upon that. So I always have to have um ways and means so I can take care of my children. But and then with the whole launch of the books, that kind of feeds into um Rest Mama because 50% of each book's proceeds goes back into Rest Mama, the nonprofit. And then with Rest Mama Travels too as well. A percentage of that will go into Rest Mama. Haven't really worked out there. I think it's going to be like 30-40% of those proceeds. That whatever I make helping you book your vacations, goes back into Rest Mama. If you're interested in anything that I do, like if you want to start your own business, I've started juice companies, I've started nonprofits, I've started travel companies for other people. I've helped facilitate um, transportation companies, repair companies. I've done all of that. So if you're interested in starting your own company, you can reach out to me, DM me on any of those platforms that I put right here. They're gonna stay here because ain't no way I'm getting rid of them. They here. And so, let me know if you're interested in those platforms. If you want to do telecommunications where you just like, I just want to work from home and that's all I want to do. I'm actually working on another business idea too as well that I just found out, but let me kind of like get the knowledge and the know-how on how to do it, and I'll be giving that information to y'all. I promise y'all the purpose of what Rest Mama is like I said, is to provide um the joys and challenges. We're gonna talk about the joys and challenges of being a mom and everything like that, but also learning how to rest and relax, as well as provide community, self-care, and any other resources that you need. And so that's kind of how I balance my work and parenting. My kids never miss. If I miss something, it is literally because I could not make it, and I'm either doing something at one point I traveled a lot for work. So if I was either traveling or I was at another kid's function. But I never missed anything that they've had. I've been on multiple field trips. I've been able to be there for my children and anything that they need. Um Because Lord forbid, if I miss one thing, then that's a core memory that they'll carry on for the rest of their lives. I'm looking at a picture right now of them when they were little, and looking at this picture, we were actually traveling. I took them on a 2-week vacation where we kind of like did a road trip, and we traveled from Georgia to Alabama to Florida to Mississippi and back up to Georgia. And I'm just looking at the picture because I never, in that moment, I just thought, the kids were able to have vacation. But I remember working and having a job and being able to take off 2 weeks from that particular 9 to 5 job, but still working my other job so I could be able to provide them with that vacation. Uh, Baby, they went. When I tell you, they went to Alabama. They went to, I think we went to the beach. We stayed a week in Florida. Then we went up to Mississippi and we stayed a few days, and then we came back to Georgia. And then we did something in Georgia. So just looking at that picture is just motivation for me because I want to continue to provide that for them. I know the pandemic kind of took a hit. We normally take an international trip every week. If not, we've been at the beach for 3 or 4 times this year. There's a lot of restructuring when it comes to me and my businesses and whatever I got going on. I ain't gonna lie, I was dating somebody and I stopped dating them, so I went through a little bit of the depression. I don't want to say a big one because I don't ever want to go back through a depression on dating somebody. But you've had goals and you've set forth things that you thought in your relationship you want to have, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. So just having to restructure and refocus on a lot of things I've been doing. But baby, that ain't never stopped me. Like I told you, I've been at the top and I also been at the bottom and in between. And so I just want to encourage any and everyone that is listening that you can do it. Like there is a way to balance your life. Because I tell y'all, even though I am taking care of work and a job, baby, Agatha gonna take care of her too. You know, like this weekend, I think I'm taking myself out because my kids are going out of town with their dad. So, I'm gonna have about 2.5 weeks to myself, and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna focus on a lot of things that I gotta focus on. But I also am gonna have me a good old time. And so I encourage you that it is possible. It's doable. You're not the first, and you're definitely not going to be a last. So trying to figure out how to balance, having kids and your life and working. You can do all three without being burned out because granted, I have a story about being burned out. Trust me, I know. But all in all, like I said, my main focus was to ensure that my children had me as a mom, but also having me as a mom to be a provider for them, making sure these lights stay on and this internet. Baby, let me tell you, one thing about this Wi-Fi, if it go out, it's World War III over here. And if I don't do nothing else, I make sure them phones is on and the internet is working and these lights are on. And food's in the refrigerator. I think they'd be happy souls if I just did those 4 things. But you can't do it if you don't know how to balance life and work and everything. And having balance actually definitely helps you with your mental space too, because those to-do lists, when you write those down, when you scratch that, even if it's minor, I'm gonna tell y'all what I got in my thing now. It says grocery shopping, cleaning house, registered vendors. One day is yesterday, paper trade, plan out podcast. So when I check those things off, I actually feel great about what I got going on, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And so we'll kind of talk a little bit. It's getting to the hour mark. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more. A lot of things that, balancing work and parenting is going to be, it's going to be integrated into the next episodes that we have. But I just want to kind of kick that one off because a lot of people, they ask me, Agatha, how do you do it? Or you do it with such poise and such grace. And sometimes it's struggle bus over here. I'm not going to lie, but I do have a process. I do have a procedure. I do have a strategy. I'm very organized when it comes to working and my kids. I'm trying not to be all over the place, even when I do have to be all over the place. And I just remain focused in what I had set myself to be, and that is to be fully available for my children as well as being able to work and be there for myself. So That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you subscribe, share, let everybody know about this podcast. We're going to be here for the next 10 more episodes because I said I was going to do 12. So here we are. Hopefully, the next episode, if I can lock in some things, we'll have a guest of what I want to talk about. There's two topics that I want to talk about, but I ain't going to tell you which one that I want to talk about right now because I need to figure out if the guests are going to be able to come. But I'm pretty excited about what's to come with Rest Mama. I love y'all so, so much. I promise y'all I do. Don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms. And yeah. All right, y'all. Love y'all, mean it. Make good choices. Be a leader. Don't be average. Be savage. Y'all got this with balancing work, life, children. And remember, the marathon will always continue. All right. Love y'all, mean it. Bye.